man. Ready? Yes, I think that's a yes. Hello, welcome. We are live for another podcast episode. Lauren doesn't even have her microphone in front of her. She's just smiling like a fucking... I don't know what I don't know what she's doing. Just sitting there smiling like, hee.
I can't. Oh my god! I totally forgot about everything else, and I forgot about the mic.
Oh my god!
What a fucking idiot!
I don't even have a White Claw. Yeah, you would think it's over a year. We've been doing this for literally over a year.
It's because I ran to get you AAA batteries last.
That we don't even need.
Decided not to use them.
It's not that I decided not to use it. It just looked like shit.
Okay, well, sorry, I tried.
No, you did. I appreciate it, but you still weren't ready. You're just sitting there.
No, I was just cheesing away. I was like, I'm going to show everybody my shirt. That's what I was thinking. So now I'm going to show everyone my shirt.
Yeah, I want everyone to see your shirt constantly, and also just a lot of space above your head. It looked,
Better?
yeah, it looked ridiculous. Yeah, please have your microphone in front of you. Make sure you're looking at the camera, not looking at yourself. Try to be a little professional, please.
It's hard, so I want to look in your direction talking to you.
Well, then it's fine, but just turn so people know you're looking at me. And because Lauren and I, we're sitting like here. This is very. I didn't say touch me.
Oh.
That's my special area.
Wow. What a brat.
Damn.
We look like we're streaming in hell.
It's
It's very ominous.
Well, it's a serious subject. You wanna fucking...
Get a little brighter, it doesn't look like we're in the fires of a volcano.
How's that?
A little more sciencey, I think. Like
Okay.
green lab. Woo!
Okay, well now I look dark as shit. I did the red to hide how dark I am.
Oh, well, you could fix that then. You could change back if you want.
So it looks like I'm covered in fucking shadows. This light, man, it's so fucking bright though. No one's happy with this. I look blue.
Yeah, put that red back on.
It's not a good look. Yeah, we gotta go red. I'm sorry.
God, look like we're in the depths of Mordor. Yes. We are major nerds.
No, you're a major nerd.
Okay, chill.
I'm not the one sitting here saying it looks like we're in Mordor. I'm also not the one who suggested we watch Lord of the Rings for the second time in a year.
It's our tradition. It's our Christmas tradition.
It's not a tradition if you've done it once.
I'm trying to make it a thing.
That's like saying if you murdered someone on the 14th, like today, December 14th. Oh, it's tradition. Every December 14th, I gotta murder someone. No, you do it once. It's not a tradition.
No, okay, but nobody would say that.
I'm sure serial killers would.
That's weird.
Why is that weird? I guarantee if you doing something once does not qualify it as a tradition.
Okay, but I'm trying to make it a thing, so
that's different. No, you didn't say that. Why are you hyping up our own chat? When people come in, they won't see it, right?
No, I know. Just leave the frick alone, will you?
Leave you alone. That's not what I'm here to do.
Nick is built to bother me endlessly.
Endlessly.
Okay. Well, dog, when you wanna record?
We can start whenever you want.
Do re mi la sol.
Alright, so the music's paused. We got our little recording light up. And I got Audacity ready to go. I also have to mute alerts. Let's just test it to make sure that they are muted. So let's test the follow. I don't even hear it.
Me neither.
I don't hear any.
Well, are they muted?
They shouldn't be. But whatever. It's probably
Try it again.
Try.
No.
Well, I'll have to deal with that another time. But for now, it's probably better that they are not working. That's why we didn't hear it recently. I thought the music was just too loud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll have to figure that out.
I bet I know why, but anyway, we'll have to deal with that another time. So, just as a reminder, when the when the recording light is on, we are not going to be looking at chat. We are not going to be answering. We will acknowledge any alerts and any messages and stuff after we're done recording, but this does go live tomorrow morning, so can't be having too much editing to do because it goes up tomorrow. All right.
Done fussing.
You're done fussing?
Yeah.
You're ready to go?
Just hit my mic.
It's real professional. Hit your mic, please.
Okay, whatever you say.
Okay, we are recording.
Today, we're going to talk about the old saying, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. This idea that men and women are so drastically different often bleeds into the misconception that male and female brains are also poles apart. But how true is this really? Hello, everybody, and welcome to Just Nah Science Podcast. Each episode, we debunk ridiculous yet common science misconceptions we find online and get just a little salty about them. I'm your favorite science teacher, Lauren.
And I'm validating my education as a neuroscientist with this episode, Nick. Before we get started, we do want to give a shout out to GCaffin338 for their thoughtful and kind review on Apple Podcast. 5-star ratings and reviews on whatever platform you listen to help us grow and spread this good science to even more people.
Thanks again, GCaffin. We really appreciate it. So, for many years, male scientists used to claim that men were superior to women because of their exceptional brains. Just a bunch of big brain Brads running around out here. But in reality, the physical differences don't really result in much. And these misconceptions were just used to justify men's preferable role in society.
Oh, big brain Brads. Oh, man, that's good. I did not.
Do you know what that's from?
No.
It's kind of a nod to, I believe it was Pulp Fiction, when he's like, look at the big brain on Brad.
Oh. Oh, yeah, I do remember that scene.
Yeah, it gave me my...
Those big brain Brads. That's good. That's good. We do want to start this episode by saying that we understand and acknowledge that there are several different genders and people might identify with them however they see fit. However, for the purposes of this episode, we're only going to be referring to typical male and typical female genders because, one, it's easier and we want everyone to understand what we're saying, and two, that's what the research refers to it as, and we can't change that. So we do hope you understand our nomenclature for the episode. Now, when you think about a male compared to a female, are there any differences that jump to mind? Aside from the common anatomical and size differences, you might be thinking about personalities. Women are thought to be more. I'm going to do that over. When you think about a male compared to a female, are there any differences that jump to mind? Aside from common anatomical and size differences, you may be thinking about personality differences. Women are thought to be more emotional, nurturing, and intimate, while men are thought to be more apathetic, bold, and rational. I did say emotionally devoid, but Lauren changed it to apathetic.
A little more concise.
Society believes men are career-oriented, while women are family-driven. Maybe someone has told you these, maybe you thought them for yourself, but either way, we're going to talk about them this episode.
So recently I listened to Dr. Gina Rippon, a cognitive neuroscientist, on another podcast, and she was talking about how even other neuroscientists and psychologists will take part in what's called confirmation bias, where they already have in their minds what the outcome of the research should be, so they're just trying to find the data that fits the mold. And this happens quite frequently with finding differences between men and women's brains to justify commonly held misconceptions and societal beliefs. And as Dr. Rippon longingly, or I don't want to say longingly, but endearingly refers to this type of research as neurotrash.
Great name, by the way.
Yes. It's also referred to as neurosexism. But confirmation bias is obviously not a good thing. You can't go digging for data or manipulating data to fit what you think the outcome should be.
Although that's what people do all the time. When you look at any argument on social media, I've researched this, and no, you didn't. You did a quick Google search, and Google knows the type of thing that you like to see. So it tells you the things you want to see. Same with social media. Social media, like Facebook especially, is the worst. And we talked about this last episode. But they have an algorithm that shows you content geared towards what they think you want to see based on the things that you like and comment and share.
Right.
And so they're going to keep feeding you this information. And you think everyone else thinks this. And you think that this is how it really is or what it should be, but it's not.
I keep laughing to myself because I recently saw a meme where it was like actual research, and it was like a scientist obviously in a coat and in a lab, doing all sciencey things, and then it was like Facebook. Social media yeah. research. It was someone sitting on the toilet taking a dump on their phone. And I was like, wow, I've never seen truer image. So personality differences between people, we could say, are because of brain differences. But are the brains of men and women actually different, that they have result in differences? Let's say someone being more keen for the maths or sciences. So do these commonly held beliefs actually hold water when we review the data? In short, not really. So here are some amazingly bad myths we also found from biblicalgenderroles.com.
Which is just a great website name.
For science, too. Especially.
Yeah. No, it's such a solid name.
And we're going to give you the link to this this infographic that we found in the show notes.
Yes. So one of the first things that it points out...
Well, tell them the title.
The title is How God Made Men's Brains Superior to Women's Brains.
So already the person who made this made their mind up about what the result is.
Yes, absolutely. Men are superior, clearly. And one of the things they list is that male brains are 10% larger, which is true. Male brains are a little bit larger. However, men themselves are larger just because of sexual dimorphism. Yeah. And as a result, your brain is bigger. But if you take brain volume or brain size relative to body size, there is really no difference.
Yeah, proportionately, it's kind of the size difference is irrelevant.
And also, there is no research to suggest that even though males do have a larger brain, that there is any difference in intelligence. Men are not smarter than women, and If a particular man is smarter than a particular woman, it's not because their brain is bigger. It's just because of individual differences between those specific people.
One of my favorite ones on this, because there's that original infographic and then somebody else had made like annotations onto it. So the original infographic says that there are eight male geniuses for every one female genius. So the person noted that men are also more likely to be atheists, which just had to be like a twist in this biblical website side.
And also the idea that there are 8 male geniuses for every one female genius,
like not true.
It's likely not true, because look back in history. When a woman did science, she was burned at the stake for being a witch. When a male did science, he was lauded. You know, like it's...
Yeah, and a lot of female discoveries and things were stolen, and males were given credit for it. Yeah. A.K.A. Watson and Crick, I'm watching you.
You don't need to watch them. Rosalind Franklin has gotten the recognition now that she deserves. There's a college named after her.
I know, but they're still mentioned in textbooks to this day, and it bothers me.
Okay.
Anyway.
Listen, all 3 of them did something, right? So, you know.
Very true. But I also love that they note males have 6.5 times more gray matter. In parentheses, thinking matter.
Which is so funny that they put in parentheses thinking matter, because thinking matter implies that the other part of your brain called white matter isn't involved in thinking, but it absolutely is. And for those who don't know what gray matter is, it is the actual cell bodies of your neuron. So your neuron is composed of a cell body and then a tail-like structure called an axon that is responsible for sending whatever signal from that brain cell to another brain cell. And if men actually had 6.5 times more brain cells, more individual brain cells than a woman, their heads would be so large our necks wouldn't be able to support them.
They'd be a bunch of bobbleheads.
Also, women wouldn't be able to give birth to men, and men would die out completely because their brains would be so huge. It's not practical. But anyway, there's more on this, and we could keep talking about this, but I want to talk about some other stuff. So if you want to check it out, click the link in the show notes. So we mentioned how complex the human brain is, and we still don't know all of its capabilities and functions. Each individual brain is slightly different than everyone else's. How is this possible? There are 2 main factors, genetics and epigenetics. Genetics are your genes, your DNA. They tell your body and brain what proteins to make and how much of them. Those proteins then go off and exert whatever function they have, but epigenetics can alter the levels of protein by suppressing or activating your DNA. These epigenetic changes are caused by our environment. As we learn and experience new things, our brain changes slightly. The connections between individual brain cells can strengthen or weaken. We could form new connections between brain cells, and our DNA is expressed differently.
Quick side note, do you remember that one time we were in that juice bar store up the block and some guy came in and he started just like talking to us about epigenetics, this and that? And you looked at him and you're like, yes, I have a master's in neuroscience. I know all about that. Half of what you said isn't true.
Yeah, I do remember that. and it was pretty awkward for everyone.
I really wish I remember what he was saying, but I just remember me like, oh, God, this is going to end very badly for this man.
Yeah, when you say stupid stuff like that, I do need to call you out, especially if it's blatantly wrong. But
Nick will not hesitate.
No.
But anyway, the next question is, in terms of this genetics, epigenetics, right? How do scientists actually look at brain changes? Mostly through imaging like CT scans, MRIs, and fMRI. So an fMRI is called functional MRI, and they tell us how active a particular brain region is during an activity.
Some people will report that men have more brain cell bodies or more individual neurons called gray matter in their brains than women. It's also been reported that men have larger inferior parietal regions or inferior parietal lobe, which is important for mathematical skills, estimating time, and judging speed.
LOL.
Taking this information and applying it without any context or additional data can be dangerous. Someone could read this and use it to justify not giving a young girl a math scholarship. Parents who might read this may use it to push their daughter away from science and math. One can make an argument for insurance rates being higher for women since their judgment of speed and timing is worse, which could potentially cause more accidents. It's very dangerous to extrapolate data and use it without any context and even knowing if it's medically relevant or physiologically relevant.
Yeah, and we all know that shit just ain't true. Like, I've seen some pretty reckless male drivers in my day. And yes, I'm looking at you pickup drivers.
Listen, if you have a pickup truck or a BMW, why?
Every time it's one of those two. We're just like, damn you.
So, is the inferior parietal lobe important for math, timing, and speed judgment? Sure. But does that mean men are better than women at these tasks? Well, the data doesn't really say so.
So one really common idea is that women have higher connectivity between the hemispheres than men do. And one talk show even stated that women have 10 times as much white matter than men do. 10 times as much. Do you have any idea what that would do to someone's skull?
Probably, because we just talked about it with men having 6.5 times more. So men have 6.5 times more gray matter, women have 10 times more white matter, and our skulls are going to burst.
So again, we don't have the space for all that brain in our tiny mortal heads. Okay, so maybe some Greek god does, but not us. Again, we can't all be big-brained Brads over here. But the idea of higher lateral connectivity in women leads people to believe things like women are better at multitasking.
Wait, stop, shut up. If we have big brain Brads, can we have crazy cerebral Carissa?
Oh my god. We gotta think of a better one. That one's like too wordy.
Well, I got nothing, okay? I'm doing this on the spot. Go on. That's all. That's all. I interrupted for that silly
I'm so
thing.
glad you interrupted for that. Personally can attest, though, I'm not good at multitasking. But however, when you compare men with small heads to women with large heads and reverse the roles since men often have larger heads, you don't really see those differences.
Yes, that was an analysis someone actually did, as funny as it may be. A study from 2014 using MRIs demonstrated that the difference in brains between men and women was quite stark. Men were more logical and rational, while women were more emotional and intuitive, which kind of leads to what people think about men and women. But when you look at the study in detail, the authors failed to account for size difference between men and women. They didn't account for puberty-related maturation, and they didn't even show many of the non-different connections in adolescent brains, which makes it seem like the difference is more apparent or stronger than it really is.
That's like when people are like, "Well, I'm not lying, but you're not telling the full truth either."
Right. It's exactly what it is. It's a lie of omission. They're not showing all the data, which is an underhanded attempt to make their data look more robust. Mm-hmm. And things like that in science should not be tolerated, and I'm glad people are calling this out. Men on average have a brain that's about 10% larger than women. We said that, but the size difference does not make much of a difference, and it's really important to account for the size difference when analyzing gender differences in the brain, but unfortunately, a lot of studies don't.
So in fact, a study from 2018 showed that authors are more likely to publish data showing differences between male and female brains than studies that show similarities. And on top of that, these studies often don't have large sample sizes and don't always take important factors like we just said, male brain size into consideration. So as a result, it makes the data presented less valid and prone to being misconstrued or misinterpreted. Catchy headlines, even if they're inaccurate, can spread very fast. There's that saying that like a lie spreads like twice as fast as a truth around the world. We see this all the time. Twitter now even has a prompt though suggesting you read the full article before retweeting and sharing it, which I think is really great.
Yeah, absolutely. But then I do get a little mad. It's like, damn, Twitter, I did read this. Leave me alone. Like, get off my back.
Get off my back, Mom.
Another really important factor in brain studies is the woman's age. More specifically, women in menopause. Menopause is known to have changes in the brain that may influence the results of a study due to hormonal changes.
Do you know what any of those are? I'm like very curious.
Specifically, no, I don't.
Because I talked to your mom today. She goes, let me tell you something. My brain isn't what it used to be.
Yeah.
I'm just not as sharp anymore.
Well, no, that's just my mom not being particularly intelligent.
No, that's not true.
I will say, though, pregnancy brain is a thing. And for those who don't know what pregnancy brain is, for some reason, and I have an idea of why, but women, when they become pregnant, tend to become more forgetful of things, or maybe not as sharp as they normally are. And I'm sure there are some pregnant women who don't experience this at all, and I'm sure there are some who do. But it's thought to be due to a decrease in gray matter, probably because the growing fetus needs a ton of energy, and your brain uses about a fifth of your energy, about 20% of energy consumption.
Just not enough energy to go around.
Yeah, so I think your body prioritizes the growing fetus and some of the brain sacrifices.
I just can't imagine what that looked like for me.
Yeah, crazy. Not good.
Not good.
Not good. But what about studies that show gender differences at an early age, like 2 to 3 months? There may be some differences in brain structure. And when we talk about brain structure, we're talking about this thing called morphology. So if you ever see that, we're talking about the structure, how something is formed. But the question of, are these differences meaningful or impact disease prevalence, we don't really know. In fact, there's several studies actually that suggest differences in male brain structure can actually be one of the causes for males being 4 times more likely to develop autism, which I think is interesting. But is the data really there? Do we know that for sure? No. Is it more likely, or is it probable that females are being underdiagnosed or misdiagnosed? That's also likely a reason why the difference between males and females with autism is so high. But there's a lot more research to be done on that.
And in fact, Dr. Gina Rippon thinks that part of the reason we see these differences in the brain is less about our biology and more about our cultures. She argues that our cultural attitudes about the potential differences between men and women have a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I personally agree with this. And I do think to a certain extent, we kind of put these roles onto young children and kind of put them into a box from an early age. That goes back to our desire to classify things and need to fit into a group or shapes, have us think that, especially at an early age, like we love to classify things.
Yeah.
So, if girls are given dolls and boys are given blocks and building sets, they're already being set up and trained in certain patterns and behaviors. And it even begins before they are born. Like we already begin to put them into these gender roles. We buy pink clothes when we know someone's pregnant with a girl, and dresses, and then blue and green for boys. And even look at every single gender reveal party. If it's a girl, the smoke or the cake or the balloons are pink. And if it's a boy, they're blue. Like even before they're born, we're already assigning them these roles.
Right.
When you're trained like that from birth, it's really hard to get your mindset out of these societal ideas. They're so ingrained.
We have the holidays coming up, and for those who celebrate Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah, which it's currently. And think about the gifts that children get. What do little girls get? Dolls, babies. Like
I hate that.
You're giving a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old girl a baby to take care of and be like, here, this is
what you do.
Right. And you're giving boys, action figures or
trucks,
whatever. It's like, this is what you do. And it's like, why? Who cares? Let them. They're a child. Let them play with whatever toy makes them happy at the moment, right? But that's me. I don't have kids, so what do I know?
I personally am just trying to make both my niece and nephew just big animal lovers. Like that's my big push. So everything I buy them is like book about animals and zoos, or hey, I bought you both slightly different types of vet sets to play with.
Yeah.
So that's my secret agenda for them.
Mine, for if you and I decide to have children, would be to teach them both how to defend themselves. That's something that I think, honestly, women probably need to know more than men.
Here's a jujitsu gi for a newborn.
Yeah, seriously, that's my contribution in that sense. You teach him how to be good to animals, and I'll teach them how to defend themselves and also cook. Because
but I truly do try not to buy them toys and books that like pre-assign gender roles.
Yeah. If their parents want to do that, that's on them. That's their kids. We can't tell them what to do. Seem like we can't tell you what to do. But we're just telling you our opinion and what the research suggests. And Laura and I had this conversation recently about men and women being put into these self-fulfilling prophecy situations. Like, are men told that they have to be this tough, I'm not allowed to be in touch with my emotions person because that's how men are told they need to be? And it probably is. And I'm sure there are some men like myself. I am very emotionally aware, more so than Lauren.
Way more.
And you have some women like Lauren who, like, you know,
can be pretty apathetic and out of touch with their emotions. Yeah.
I didn't want to say it,
It's
but
okay, I'll say it
someone
for
needed
both.
to.
No, I get it. There's people of both. So I think it's like, it's ridiculous to put that idea onto entire genders.
Yeah.
But I also think like a lot of our issues, and this is just like a whole nother can of worms, but I think a lot of our issues as a society stems from not allowing men to properly express their emotions. And I think a lot of violence stems from that, or like is a result of that. They don't know how else to voice their frustrations and their emotions, and they take it out on things like school shootings and domestic violence.
Yeah.
and other ways.
Absolutely. I mean, it's, yeah, I don't even want to get into this because we're nearing the end of the episode, but yeah, that should be a topic for another day. I think it's a fascinating, interesting topic. It's something that definitely needs to be addressed and ultimately changed in society. Toxic masculinity is a huge problem, and I try as a person to break that mold. I cook, I bake, I love Taylor Swift, but I also
He's proud
love
of it.
But I am. I've listened to Evermore all day, and I'm gonna listen to it again.
Pretty freaking sick of it.
Too bad. Anyway, but then on the other hand, I like to go to the gun range. I like to do martial arts and jujitsu and self-defense, and
What are considered more manly.
yeah. So I like to do both. Then there's nothing wrong with that. And if I hear my friends talking out of line or the talking nonsense, I'll call them out on it. I have no problem doing it because it's the right thing to do. So I try to be an example, and I try to live how I think others should and how I would advise others. I don't just speak it.
Nick will choke you out while listening to Taylor Swift.
Oh,
no
with
problem.
with a smile on my face.
In an apron.
Listen, I have a really nice apron. You got it for me, so I don't listen.
It is pretty nice.
Anyway, that's going to do it for us today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and especially share it. It takes literal seconds to hit subscribe and click the 5-star review button, and it would mean a whole lot to us. Positive ratings and shares on social media are the biggest ways you can help us spread this good science to even more people. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Just Not Science. You can also visit our website, justnotscience.com, where you can watch YouTube videos, read blog posts, or submit questions and suggest topics for future episodes.
And don't forget, we put out new episodes every Tuesday. As always, thanks for listening.
Later, nerds.
Later, Gators.
Okay, let's save this.
Oh, heyo, guys.
What do you got?
We got Sass
Yeah.
and Chicky Mugs.
Chicky Mugs. Been a while, Chicky. I'm just saving this document, and I'll be there.
That was a fun one. I enjoyed that one.
Because it's more of your wheelhouse. You really enjoy human behavior.
I love sociobiology, and you're great with neuroscience. So I think this was like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, no, we were good on that one. Okay, I can close some of this shit out.
How you doing, Chicky Mugs? Happy to see you back.
Chicky Mugs, what is up?
Sass at some point said, "I'm feeling singled out." I wonder what part that was.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw it too late, unfortunately. But I'm glad you're doing well. Hopefully the things you had to do weren't anything bad or serious. Let's kick this music back up.
Yay.
Let's get that going. I really wish I had a White Claw.
Do you want me to go get one?
Do I want you to go get me a White Claw? I'm not going to say no to a White Claw.
Actually, I can't stand up just yet.
Oh, do I have to go get myself one? All right, Lauren, you entertain everyone, And tell them about your dream. Lauren had a crazy
The pickup truck comment. My brother has one too, and I was like, why do you need a pickup truck, Danny?
You're trying to figure some stuff out. That sounds ominous. Get what? Oh, you just don't want to talk about your dream. Lauren had a dream.
I'll talk about it when I come back.
Okay, Lauren's gonna talk about when she comes back. But Chicky Mug, I hope everything's okay. If there's anything that we can help with or do, please, let us know. You didn't mean for it to be. I mean, it's when someone's like, "Oh, I'm trying to figure stuff out." Like, it sounds deep and like you're making some huge life-altering changes, and we're here for you guys. We wanna know what's going on in your life without prying. Of course, it's up to you to tell us what you're doing, and I don't want to know if you don't want to tell. But we're here to help. We're here to. I don't want to say advise because I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a life coach. I can't give advice like that. I can just talk about my personal experiences, and I've had a lot of them. Near-death experiences. Now married, breaking up with someone who did not want to be broken up with, being broken up with after a 6-year relationship. Looking at colleges is huge. I went to 2 colleges. I applied to one. Well, I went to one, transferred to a second, and then went to grad school, and then the whole medical school application. I am very familiar with applying to colleges, and it's tough. It's a huge pain in the ass between applications, personal statements, recommendations, transcripts, all this kind of stuff. It's a lot. So trying to figure all that out is difficult for sure. And I have sympathy for you. I know what it's like. I applied to medical school a couple of years ago, and I got in. I took the MCAT, did okay. I did average on the MCAT. I didn't do great. I could have done better. I should have done better. But I applied to a medical school, and I got accepted. And I went on the interview, and I crushed the interview. I'm great at interviews. But I decided not to go ultimately. You don't know where you want to go. People think you can get in anywhere you want. Well, you know what? You probably can. And in psychology, there's this thing called defensive pessimism. It's you tell yourself, I'm not going to do well. Like people do this on tests, right? Lauren is studying for an exam, and she's doing it right now. I'm not going to do well. I'm not going to do well. And then they go and get a 90, right? I'm sure you know people who are like that. They are called defensive pessimists because what they're doing is they are telling themselves they are getting bad news early, or they prepare themselves for bad news so that if it happens, they're not disappointed or they're not surprised. You got yourself some eggnog.
Yes.
It's a few years away, but it's best to start preparing early. I agree. Most of the time, people will start thinking about colleges in sophomore year, maybe something that they want to major in, maybe an area that they want to live in. If you know for a fact you want to get away from your hometown, you want to go to California, you love it in California, or you want to go to New York because New York's the best state there is. New York City is the greatest.
No, it's not.
Or you want to go somewhere, people will start considering that kind of stuff. Cheers, everyone. Lauren was kind enough to get me a White Claw. Thank you very much.
Cheers. I have that was incredibly loud.
That was a fucking snap. That was crisp.
I have my eggnog and cinnamon. Cheers.
You haven't been out of Louisiana much. Yeah, some people want to get away. Some people find comfort in where they know and where they. I think
it's always a good idea to experience somewhere else and the culture somewhere else. Louisiana has a very specific culture. Like, you guys have a lot of culture down there, and so I think it's good to go and see somewhere else. See what else is that whole world out there.
I do agree. Even if it's just temporary, I definitely think getting away, even if it's not far, right? Just being outside of your comfort zone, being outside of where you grew up, will make you a better person. You see a little bit more of the world for what it is, and you get to appreciate
Different
the world.
perspectives.
Yeah, different perspectives. You meet different people. You
For sure.
enjoy things that you never even heard of or tried, or I think it's always a good idea, but you have to do it within your means, right? You don't want to do what I did and go away to a college that you can't afford. That was a mistake. And if I could do something differently, I would do that. I would still have gone away. The college experience, dorming and all that kind of stuff was incredible. I loved it. But
Best years of my life.
I'm like right here.
I'm sorry. I mean, of like my adolescent type life.
Wow.
It was just a lot of fun. That's all.
You haven't even figured out what you want to major in, but you've narrowed it down to 3 broad things. And honestly, I think that's better.
Most people I know who went to college for something ended up doing something totally different career-wise anyway. I think it's kind of crazy to ask an 18-year-old or to expect an 18-year-old or someone to know what they want to do for the rest of their lives.
No, I would have...
You have no experience.
Unless you are dead set, passionate about something that you love and you love it, don't worry about it. More than half of college students change their major anyway.
Yeah.
So you're likely to change your major, even if it's something, you think cooking, lawyer, or something to do with technology. Yeah, I mean, those are all good options. As someone whose brother is a lawyer, his advice is to not become a lawyer unless you know that you can graduate at the top of your class or close to the top of your class, top 10%, something like that, and you can do a really good clerkship or something like that. Being a lawyer is tough. Not that I'm sure you could do it, but that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, my dad's a lawyer too, and you work very long days. You work a lot.
Yeah.
As a lawyer.
And it's not even a lot of work that I think is the issue. It's just you should know what you're getting into. You should have all the information you possibly can. Cooking is always great, but it's, again, you're working crazy long hours.
And right now, restaurants are doing great in some areas. I'm trying to be a good lawyer, and I'm good at arguing.
I mean, listen, being good at arguing is half the battle. The other half is knowing what to argue and how to argue. Being good at arguing is a good skill, especially, or being convincing and being confident in an argument or knowing how to make an argument is very important as a lawyer. But it's all the other stuff that comes with it. Researching and all, again, not saying it's not for you. I don't know your particular skill set like that, but just things to consider. And something with technology, it's a little too broad for me to comment on, but technology is the future, right?
It's pretty much booming, so
it's always going to be around. It's only going to get bigger and better and stronger, and there's no way around it.
Bigger and better and strong. You make it sound like a growing, like, ominous.
I make it sound like the $1 Million Man.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone knows what that is.
Oh my god.
But I think it's irresponsible of society to force an 18-year-old to know what they want to do. I'm 30, and I know what I want to do, and I have things that I love to do, but career-wise, it wasn't until the past year that I decided, that I really found out that I love content creation. I love making YouTube videos, and I love podcasting, and I love streaming, and
Oh, he does.
I do.
That he does.
But I didn't figure that out until 30. I went to graduate school, and I have a degree in something that's not digital marketing or SEO and technology and website and graphic design. I don't know any of that shit. I have to learn it as I go, but I don't mind because I love to do it.
You're very dedicated. I have to say, I'm very proud of you. You have learned a lot in this past year. I would have been like, frick this.
It's so painful to watch, like, my first YouTube video and stuff, like my first live stream, because it was so bad. And
yeah, but that's everyone. It's every actor, every lawyer, back in their first case and their first film, and that's how you learn.
My brother lost the first like a couple of big cases because they were early on in his career and it was not good. You've always been interested in learning things about like how to make a motorized bike or how to make an RC car. Okay, so maybe, you know, something like robotics or electrical engineering and stuff like that might be a little more up your alley. Robotics is if my dad could have picked a field for me, it would have been robotics.
Well, your parents always used to buy those robots to build, right?
Yes, but they didn't buy it. I wanted them to buy it for me. They had these robot models that would come in hundreds of pieces, and I would spend hours putting them together. My parents would buy me one that was like this big, and there would be like 200 something pieces in it, and I would work on it from the time they gave it to me, which, you know, they usually bought me something like that for like my birthday or Christmas, and from like 11 in the morning to like 7, 8, 9 at night, something like that, just nonstop, taking only a break to eat. It's crazy.
And then you would finish, and then your brother would come in and smash it to pieces.
He would. He would get mad at me for something, or he just felt like being a dick, and he'd smash it. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good times.
If that was my brother, I would have put his head through the drywall several times.
I tried. He ran behind my mom. You haven't tried many things because you don't have the resources, but if you could, I would do everything there is on YouTube. Well, that's too much because there's too much on YouTube. The human brain can only absorb so much. You have a finite amount of brain space. And while I think it's great to want to try as much as you can or experience as much as you can, there is a limit to what you can, even if you had the brain space or the ability to learn it all. There's only so much time in a day. You only have 24 hours, and you have to spend some of it sleeping, and you have to spend some of it eating. And
I don't think he literally means, or he or she literally means everything. But
I understand. You want to do as much as you can, and there's some nobility in that, and wanting to be a well-rounded person, what they call a Renaissance person. I'm not gonna say Renaissance man, Renaissance person.
Oh yeah,
it was an exaggeration, thing. But you just watch. I got you. Just not philosophy.
Yeah.
What up, mammal? Cheers.
Cheers, my eggnog.
If I knew you were getting eggnog, I would have had you make me a hot chocolate. You could have shared
not
it.
Doing that.
You just all you had to do was microwave milk and put it in the thing.
I want an eggnog.
No, I'm saying I would have had you make me hot chocolate, so we could have had like mugs and clinked them.
True.
You should buy some nog.
I should have just put your White Claw in a mug.
Why?
Well, because it's the holiday season.
It's the holiday season, so White Claw in a mug.
It's the holiday season.
Don't start singing. We're going to get sued. We're not allowed to do this. We're going to get a copyright strike.
Oh, God, yeah, sorry. Sorry, take that back. Backsies.
It's not. Lawyers don't care about that. I called backsies.
But, yeah, just trying to spread some knowledge from going through life a little bit and what people expect of you at that age entering college versus what you realize later on. It's not all it's cracked up to be, so don't put the pressure on yourself.
People don't expect shit from you.
They expect you to know what you want to do. And
oh yeah, sure. And I think
really
I think it's unreasonable.
Yeah. Totally.
And I said it before. I think it's irresponsible of society to expect that of people. You know, I mentioned before. I got into one time you made a speaker. Like you just got some spare parts and put a speaker together. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It would be more impressive if the speaker was made out of a potato. That would be fucking dope. Because then when the speaker, like when you're done with the party, you could just like
throw it out.
No, you can make some like fries out of it. Mrs. Oh man.
Solgin?
Mrs. Solguin. Solgin. Oh my god. I'm gonna call you Soul.
I was thinking that too. I was like, all right.
I am so sorry for messing that up, but hello, how are you doing? Cheers, thanks for being. Oh, Olgin.
Ah.
Oh.
Solgin. No worries. Thanks.
I'm terrible at pronouncing things.
Speaker fries. Oh my god.
I would I would try to make like some French fries out of that like have some serious base.
We just had fries last night. They were awesome. We're
I
gonna
love
make them
French
from
fries.
scratch. Yeah, they're the best.
French fries are. I saw someone, I think it was in our Discord, someone posted like you have to give up one carb forever. It was like potatoes, pasta, rice, and bread. I was like, I can't do this. I can't choose one.
I love them all, but it would probably be rice.
Yeah, I
have to go. 'Cause
if I
can't
had
do
to choose.
pasta. Yeah, I can't give up potatoes.
If someone was like, choose one or I'm going to kill Lauren. And I love the fact that I can do this. If someone's like,
Wow.
I'm gonna pull the trigger unless you pick one of the four,
Where is this hand coming from?
it would have to be rice. The speaker that you made was about as loud as a store-bought one. I mean, that's impressive. It's certainly impressive. I can't do that kind of stuff. I don't have the electrical wiring knowledge to just make a speaker, especially one out of a potato. So I couldn't even make a light bulb out of a lemon, or like a potato. Some people do that. They like there's a way to use salty water and like some electrical wiring in like a lemon or potato to power a light bulb because of the ion transfer that occurs. But you know,
Don't sweat it. I forgive you.
thanks. Okay, as long as you forgive me.
So anyway, before I went down to get Nick's a White Claw, he was like, "Oh, tell him about your dream, or the dreams you've been having." And if anybody has any suggestions on how to stop remembering your dreams, please tell me. I'm desperate. I have been having the most horrible dreams this week, and I don't want them anymore. Please make them stop.
I don't know most of the dreams that Lauren has had because she won't tell me them. They're too graphic and gruesome, apparently. Like, they are brutal. But she did tell me the dream she had last night.
Okay, last night I had a dream that I don't
Just
know how
say
much
it.
you want
Just
me
say
to
it. Say
tell.
the whole thing.
Last night I had a dream that Nick started doing amateur porn. I can't even say it.
Okay. Do you want me to say it?
But we decided as like a couple that he was gonna do this in my dream.
Because we're destitute.
Yeah, I guess we were destitute for money. But like we also thought it was a good idea for like me to be there on set, you know,
Right.
just to like make sure everything was like cool.
Right. She's, part of the production crew, I guess.
And so I have this image burned into my brain of like Nick with another woman, and I was like, oh my god! I just want a good night's sleep.
But I wasn't just with this woman. I apparently got her pregnant.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that one, Freud?
No. I know, and that was like one of the more like cool dreams I had this week.
That was one of the more chill ones.
Yeah.
All the other ones were like people getting hacked up, or I don't even know. She, like I said,
Yeah, I wouldn't tell him, and I for sure am not gonna say it on stream.
No, that's the kind of thing that you would tell me privately, but she won't.
The other one where like a crazy person showed up on a high school track when everyone was like running track, whatever, and it was like carving stuff into people's heads. All right, not so bad.
Anyway, Chicken Mug redeemed a Would You Rather. Let's find one. I'm just gonna scroll and stop randomly. That's a stupid one. I'm not doing that.
Pick one.
I'm trying to. That's stupid. Some of these are dumb. Some of these are so stupid.
I feel like I remember a good one from a long time ago, but let me think, see if I remember the whole thing.
Okay. I'm going to copy the question and post it in chat so everyone can see it. Would you rather have everything you draw become real, but be permanently terrible at drawing, or be able to fly, but only fly as fast as you can walk.
I'd take the flying. Because I'd put some terrible things into existence.
Just abominations.
Yeah. You know how many like dicks would be just like hopping around the street if everything people drew? Yeah, you know how many like young boys just draw dicks all the time?
Everything you draw, not just like random 14-year-olds who want to draw big triumphant veiny dicks. What is wrong with you?
Alright, so just me. Then do you know how many dicks would be just come like all around?
Again, why are you drawing so many dicks?
I don't know.
Stop having porn dreams.
I'm sure when I was younger I drew more.
You just fucking... It was like the Superbad when he has a notebook full of dicks.
I always think of that.
Man, that is so good. Some of those are so good.
I know.
It was like George Washington crossing the Delaware River, but he's a dick. Oh, it's so good.
My friend Ari used to have like a little comic in our college, our campus newspaper, and it was like about dicks, and they were really good. Like some of them were amazing, and now he's like this big time like video producer in California.
Chicky Muggs says that they would fly because they can walk pretty fast. Sass, what about you? What would you prefer? Would you rather everything you draw become real, but you are an awful artist? Or would you rather be able to fly, but at a pretty slow pace? I think I would still take the drawing.
Why?
Because then you can draw something that flies. You know what I mean?
Can you draw money into existence?
Whatever you draw becomes real. But I can draw an object that could fly.
Yeah, but it's not you.
I know, but then I just get on the thing that I drew, and then I can now fly on the object.
Well, you have to draw something really big.
Okay, fine, whatever. It doesn't. Who cares?
Yeah, but you can't really draw money into an existence because it would still look like crap. And they'd be like, "This isn't real," and I'm like, "No, I promise, this is real." And it's like just a rectangle. It says $5 on.
And Miss Olguin says that they would rather fly.
Yeah, I think definitely flying. Even if it's slow, being able to fly is awesome.
You could draw an ATM according to Chicky Muggs. But you probably get like Monopoly money out of it the way it comes out. It'd come out looking super cartoonish. Like I said, I wouldn't even use it for the money. I would use it for these crazy things that other people may want to buy. And then I just get money from people buying the stuff that I produce into reality.
Okay, so you do the drawing, I'll do the flying, and together it will be...
But I don't need you. I can make my own flying object.
But we're married, so...
So? I had to sit around for years?
Wait, you trying to get into porn now or something? You trying to leave me to become a porn star? Now, Nick thinks he's too good for me now.
That's not what I said. I'm saying... I wouldn't need the flying. I wouldn't need you to transport me. And
I'm not saying to transport you. I'm just saying how cool we'd be. The coolest couple people know if I could fly and you could draw things into existence.
I guess.
What if people would come up to you and be like, "Please draw my mom. I want to bring her back." Like you'd be like the Long Island medium, but you'd be like the Staten Island artist. I don't even know what we'd call you.
Oh, I want to see my mom again.
Now, wouldn't you be like, "Ooh, yeah, I don't do that kind of drawing"?
No, I wouldn't do that because they'd look like a caricature.
Yeah, like that's terrible. Like sacrilege.
No, I don't care about that.
I know you don't, but
I don't want to like insult my potential clients, I guess. Oh, that's pretty funny.
I would draw some dogs for sure.
They would come out looking like something that guards the gate of Hades.
That's true.
They'd come out looking like Cerberus.
What can you draw well that you'd be worth taking that option?
But no, it doesn't matter because everything you would draw is terrible. But they don't define terrible.
No, they say as good as you can draw.
Chicky Muggs mentions tracing. Does tracing count? That's a good question. We don't know. Maybe you just fuck up the tracing.
No, you would be permanently terrible. Yeah. Yes, you really couldn't get better.
Right, because otherwise then I would just hire an artist to coach me.
So then why do you want this option again?
Because you can draw anything and it becomes real, and I don't have to worry about flying somewhere. I can make an object. I can draw a jetpack.
Yeah, but then what if your jetpack doesn't work that well because you drew it like shit? And you start going up, and you're like, oh man, this jetpack actually doesn't work because I barely drew half of it. Right? Does like the function of it relate to how well you draw it?
That's a question. If I draw a jetpack, I draw the exterior of a jetpack. Do I have a fully functioning jetpack, or do I have the shell of a jetpack? Because I didn't draw the wiring and the electrical components.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a good point. And that's like an interesting caveat that I haven't considered. But,
So, I stand by my decision.
I still stand by mine. Because I could just draw a big propeller and it'd be fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Chicky Monk says that if they add something to the tracing, it now becomes a drawing. Can't argue with that logic. That's just good math right there. That's good science.
Yeah, that's that good science.
Oh man.
Yeah, but I do need a witch doctor, so I know we were talking about this before, but I definitely need some. I need to stop remembering my dreams or stop having these nightmares. So if you guys can make that happen, that'd be great.
I can't make that happen. Although I do feel like I haven't gotten very good sleep the past couple of nights. I don't know why. Oh, Chicky Mugs redeeming a text from last night. You know what's so funny? I was just thinking to myself, man, I wish someone would do a text from last night.
I was going to do one too. I have like 50,000 points. Yeah, I think I'm going to sage the apartment just because.
Oh, okay. Let's pull a random one. What the hell are these?
I got a glimpse of that too, and that's horrifying.
Okay, here's a text from last night from area code 717. About that photo of the cake you just sent. You do realize it's on a glass table, right? We can all see your reflection in it, and you're very obviously naked.
I feel like that's something you would do. We're like, hey, Twitter, check out this pull-apart cake I just made. There's like a mirror in the background you didn't notice.
Those images are some of my favorite, where people take pictures and they don't see something in the background, or they don't see something in the reflection of a mirror. Like, how many pictures are there of some like women in that bathroom or that bedroom, and this is like a dildo in the mirror or something ridiculous, and it's like, damn. Someone took a picture of like the toilet for some reason, and you see like the shadow of their fucking hog.
Of their dingling.
Yeah, I was gonna not say like a bad word for dick, but I did preface it with the word fucking. So like the family content, like the family friendly content, has kind of gone out the window. I don't think we cursed on our podcast episode. I don't think we. I mean, I'm gonna have to edit it and listen back, but
yeah, I don't know.
I don't think we cursed. Good for us.
But it was a good one though.
Good for us. We also made it a point redemption that you could make us not curse for 10 minutes, and
I just saw that. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, I added a couple of things because we took off the Jerry stuff because Jerry isn't here. He's
not with us anymore.
No, don't say it like that. It sounds like he's dead.
No, he's just sleeping.
He's sleeping, but he is not allowed up in our studio. So we had to turn the Jerry point redemptions off, which is unfortunate because they were like my favorite.
I know.
But he's just not allowed in the studio, so I had to put a couple of things to make up for what I took out. So I don't want to leave you guys with nothing. That's silly. Man, your camera looks so much better than mine.
Yeah, you look very white.
I am pretty white.
Very drowned out.
But this is my hand on my camera, and this is my hand on Lauren's camera. Like, it is significantly nicer.
Such a nice hand.
Such a nice hand. I could be a hand. I mean, I have like fucking huge bear claws. It's the time of year where like you would want to wear gloves when you go outside. but I don't own a pair of gloves because all the gloves that I buy are too small for my hands. There are pairs of gloves that are like a large, and I'll put them on, and I can feel my hand throbbing. I can feel the blood flow because the glove is just too
Feel
tight.
what throbbing?
What's
I'm
my
sorry,
favorite?
your hand throbbing.
Yeah, and then you wonder why you have dreams about me doing porn.
It's all my fault.
It's all your fault. I don't have sympathy for you.
Shoot, favorite chip.
I'll answer first because my answer is incredibly basic, incredibly boring. Regular.
What is regular?
Just plain Lay's potato chip.
Okay, so potato chip. You
What
can't
other
go to
chip are
Target and
there?
be like regular. I mean, there's Doritos.
Doritos
Cool
aren't
Ranch.
chips.
Okay. Yes, they are.
When someone
Do
says
you agree Doritos are chips?
when someone says chips, they're talking about potato chips.
All right. Well,
Salt and
we'll
vinegar.
See. Chicken Mugs, what do you
sour
think?
cream.
Were Doritos included in that?
Doritos are not a chip.
Yes, they are. Then what are Doritos?
That's like are popcorners chips? No. Are Cheez-Its chips?
No.
They fall under the same category. Why not?
Yes, Doritos are included.
But why are Doritos included and not something like Cheez-Its or popcorners? That doesn't make sense.
Cheez-Its
It's
are
arbitrary.
not chips. Doritos are clearly chips.
Why? How? They're the same thing.
You have-
They're nacho cheese flavored. Cheez-Its are cheese flavored. They're both some type of bread that is baked.
You have
covered in cheese.
Doritos, potato
No,
chips,
it's- no,
and then you
no,
have like
no.
tortilla chips.
That's not how tortilla chips are different. Once you add the cheese, it's not a chip anymore.
Tortilla chips, it's like it's in the name.
I know. I said
chips
tortilla
in the
chips are
name.
included, but no, Doritos are not chips.
Wow. I
They're
think we should
just
put this
not.
poll on Twitter or something. And I think you would lose 100%
Okay,
to 0.
fine. You know what? Fuck you. Cheddar Lays aren't chips. They are because they're potatoes still. I'll put that shit on Twitter. You want
You
to
will
go?
get annihilated in that poll. Doritos, literally everyone will read that and be like, wait, you know what? Don't write that, because then we're gonna lose all credibility, because people are like, what freaking idiot is running just now that he doesn't think Doritos are chips?
No, we're doing it.
Oh God. There you go, you ruined our whole name with this.
There. I just put the poll out. Excuse me. I just put the poll out on our Twitter. Follow at Just Now Science. And I asked the question: are Doritos chips? So you can find us there, and yeah, it's horse shit. Your favorite chip is honey barbecue Frito twist. Man, I did not see that coming. Did not see that coming.
Nick would be like, well, is that really a chip?
It's a corn chip. Yeah, it is. It's a corn chip. There, solved it.
Oh my God, I can't believe it's not a freaking chip. What the hell's the matter with you?
I'm just a basic bitch when it comes to chips. My favorite is
Yeah, Doritos are made for corn, exactly.
Doritos are corn.
Yes.
So is popcorn though. Popcorn aren't chips. You want to play this game? Is popcorn a chip then? Because it's made from popcorn. It's made from corn. If that's the criteria we're gonna use. What are you doing?
I'm writing you special notes. Oh my God. Honestly, from having all these bad dreams and not sleeping well, I am considerably exhausted right now.
So it's ground up and made into a shape. So your criteria for a chip is something that's made of corn and ground up into any type of shape. So a popcorner which is made from corn and is ground into a shape, is a chip. Popcorner is literally just a triangular shaped popcorn, if you're not familiar.
I'd say popcorners are chips.
Now, but is it because potato chips are chips, and you've never heard of popcorners before. They're very good. I love them. But are Cheez-Its chips?
I don't know. Maybe I should go downstairs and try a few to find out.
What is the criteria for becoming a chip? Something that's ground and molded into a shape and then cooked? Is that the criteria for a chip?
I don't think when Chicky Mugs asked us what our favorite chip was, that they thought this was what the conversation was going to become. I think they just wanted to know what our favorite chip was.
It's what it's become. So, Cheez-Its are crackers. And crackers aren't chips. But crackers is wheat ground up and molded into a shape and then baked and or fried. So, why isn't that a chip? Thank you. Oh, thank you, Miss Olguin. I appreciate that.
Please stop assaulting us with this logic.
See?
And this is what I live with. But like, try to imagine every little question like this that you bring up turning into this type of argument and conversation. You're like, damn, bitch, I just want to know what types of chips you like because I'm at Target right now and I want to know what to pick you up.
Okay, but understand that if you make the qualification for a chip just an item that is ground and then molded into a shape and cooked, anything could be a chip. Burgers would be a chip then, by that definition alone. And obviously burgers aren't chips.
And this is why I never pick you up snacks when I go grocery shopping. Just so you know.
But I'm saying, like, if we're gonna
I hear what you're saying, and I'm just letting you know.
we need if we're going to define something, then we have to be consistent with the nomenclature.
A chip's a chip, bitch. Try that for nomenclature. Okay? God damn it.
So if we're going to take Chicky Mugs' argument that, it's ground up corn and it's molded into a shape, then burgers are. It has to be made out of corn or potato, and they're generally formed into okay, so now the criteria is corn or potato ground into a shape and cooked.
Baked, not fried.
Okay, bread. And that's not
that's wheat.
Corn. Okay, what about tortillas? But a non-tortilla chip tortilla. Just a regular fucking tortilla.
Well, then they
They're
weren't
cooked.
baked.
Okay, so if I bake it now, it's a chip?
I mean, kinda. Yeah, it's kinda like, isn't that where tortilla chips come from?
Cheez-Its are made of flour, so they're out. That's why they're crackers. Okay, so now we're adding to the definition by excluding flour. Okay. I'm gonna find an exception to this rule.
Please, just let us all go to sleep and rest and not be bogged down by this.
I'm gonna think of an exception to this rule.
I think Jerry's calling me, actually. I need to go check on him.
Empanadas. No, they're not chips because they're stuffed?
Correct. Yeah, chips are not stuffed.
Okay. Chips aren't stuffed.
All right.
What are you doing?
I'm literally typing in what are chips.
I see. It looks like Doritos on the Google page.
It says a chip or a crisp is any type of snack food in the form of a crisp, flat, or slightly bowl-shaped, bite-sized unit.
Okay, but then that crackers fall in that definition.
Okay. While most chips are savory snacks, sweet fruit chips are also available.
What about veggie chips? No one likes those. Are they still chips?
Yeah, veggie
No, you
chips.
don't like veggie chips. Don't fucking lie to me. Don't lie right to my face.
Terra chips, yes, I like them. Ooh, bean chips. And now Wikipedia is assaulting me for a donation, so I have to get off this site. Listen, just...
I'm listening.
Just be cool, man. Just be cool.
Just be cool.
Yeah, tortillas are just bigger. They're just bigger tortilla chips. Exactly. Dorito is 100% a chip. I'm so sorry. You lose.
Fine.
You lose. You don't get anything. I don't even know what the line is.
God, Lauren's trying to quote Willy Wonka at the end when she says, "You lose. You get nothing. You stole fizzy lifting drink."
Fizzy lifting. What is it? Fizzy lifting?
Yeah, fizzy lifting drink.
This is what happens when I'm running on very little
sleep. You
sleep.
wouldn't have known it anyway. Please don't blame it on lack of sleep.
I'm about to fall asleep right here.
All right, then go.
I'm gonna have to go check on Jerry, guys.
Okay, go take Jerry for a walk, and I'll finish out this myself.
Please do.
I'll probably just take your seat.
You want me to leave this here for you?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, guys, I'm going to head out. I'm going to go check on the dog, walk him, and nobody wants to hear me talk so delusionally. So I'm way too tired.
Honestly, I think you do, though.
I do what?
I think we want to hear you talk in a delusional fashion.
This is what it sounds like when I don't get a lot of sleep and I try to teach.
Do I
I'm
accept...
like, whoa.
Wait, Chicken Mugs asking, do I accept defeat? We can continue this. Lauren's going. I'm not going. I'm going to be on for at least another 45.
Wow.
I mean, probably.
Nick will never stop arguing a point. So if you want to be a lawyer and you want to practice with him, go for it.
Listen, it's outer space. It is a hot debate.
BRB, he's gonna go get his textbooks.
He's gonna
and
get
shit.
some fucking legal precedent. Fucking the state of New York versus Ritz.
Legally defined as such.
Yeah. Are you going or not? Because I set this to look at just you.
Oh yeah, it's on just me. Sorry. All right, guys, I'm gonna bounce out of here. Gonna walk Jerry.
They can't see with the microphone there, you dunce. Now they can see it. Okay.
Bye, guys. Have a good night. Enjoy. Chip hating bitch.
Oh god, my camera's falling. All right, let's do this. I don't know if Lauren's mic is set up for me, but I hope everyone is doing all right. We are, we were talking before about what constitutes a chip, and so far the definition we've gotten is it must be made of corn or potatoes molded into some shape and then fried or cooked at least. So that's the definition we got of a chip. And I'm sure I can think of something. So what? Listen, I'm willing to agree on the definition, but I think okay, let's think. Yeah. Let's hash this out. So those are the three things that make a chip, right? Has to be potato or corn, has to be ground or sliced, and it must be cooked. Are there any other criteria that define a chip? Can you think of any exceptions to the definitions, like commonly accepted chips that aren't matching the veggie chips? Veggie chips are not made of corn or potatoes, and therefore they don't meet the criteria. Unless, of course, they are veggie chips made of potatoes, but then, those aren't typically used. Other than that, I don't know. But okay, apple chips, right? Apple chips or fruit chips. Is the chip debate still going? Yes, it is. It very much is. Yeah, apple chips or like fruit chips, vegetable chips, things like that. Those don't fit into the criteria. But what about, you would say that veggie chips are a different category of chip, like a sub. Okay, so now we're getting subcategories. So, but in order to fit into a subcategory, they must, the overarching category must accommodate them. Then it's just dehydrated fruit. So the way subcategories work is you have your archetype. You missed a good amount, but what would count as a chip then? Thinly sliced, fried, or something fried. Let's answer that in a second. So you have your archetype, right? That's the broadest classification you can, and then you have your classes. And then you have your subtypes. I think that's how it goes, right? I think you have to have an overarching definition that accommodates everything that you can call a chip. Then you can have your classes, right? You can have your potato-based, you can have your corn-based, you can have baked and fried, or something like that. And then you have your subtypes, which would include things like veggie chips, which are ground and fried, but they're not, they're not flour. So you can have like a class could be fried or baked, right? Chips have to be fried or baked, and then you can have your subtypes of, kind of. I think it's a little less extreme than the entire phylogenetic classification. So for example, you can have your archetype is chip. You can have your class is baked or fried, and then you could have your subtype is potato. So you might have to rework the chip definition if you're going to include things like, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. The archetype of chip needs to be broad enough to accommodate everything that could fall under the chip umbrella. So you have your archetype just being chips. Chips are something that is baked or fried and is generally molded into some type of shape, or thinly sliced, right? Because regular potato chips are thinly sliced. So it's thinly sliced or ground and worked into a shape, and then it's baked or fried. That is enough to constitute a chip. And I would say it has to be ground into a thin shape. It has to be thinly ground or a thin shape. Because then, as I mentioned before, you could fry meatballs, which are deep fried or pan fried, would fall under a broad classification of chip because it's just something that's ground up and fried, and that doesn't meet the classification of a chip, even though it's all the stuff that we just said. Fruit chips aren't baked or fried, they're just dehydrated. Yeah, see? Miss Olguin provides a good point, and I think Link of Hyrule said the same thing before. It's just dehydrated fruit. So we have to rework that definition again, and you can have three subtypes. You can have your dehydrated, you have your baked, and you have your fried. And within each class, you can have your subtype of potato, fruit, and vegetable. And I think that's the way to do it. Because then doing it like that, you eliminate things like meatballs, which are fried and they are shaped and they're ground, but they don't fall into the fruit, vegetable, or cheese, or like fruit, vegetable, or like flour, corn, whatever. You can eliminate it. You can kind of exclude out, and I think that's the better way to go. Wow, we spent a long time on this. But this is what humans like to do. Humans love to organize and classify. Wait. Did I see your last? Crisp fruit or vegetable that is molded into some shape. Again, I think it has to be even a little more narrow to say that it is thin. It has to be into a thin shape. Right? Because then if someone just like takes, I don't know, a piece of apple and like an apple wedge and deep fries it, that's not a chip anymore, right? That's deep fried apple. So I think it has to be thin. I think that's a good overarching category for what a chip is. But why don't we move on to something else? And this is kind of where I open it up to you guys, and what we can have another crazy debate. We can do whatever the hell you guys want. I think that is good. I think that is a good definition. I think we got it. And then, yeah, but where do so wait, but you included crisp. Are crisp crackers or are crisp chips? Because then where do crackers fall in? That reminds you of this dialogue from a show. I definitely. Do you carry cheese? Yeah, it's in a Dairy Queen. What kind do you have? We got all five. There are more than 5 kinds. There are hundreds. There are 5 cheddar, Swiss, mozzarella, Parmesan, and whiz. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much the kind of conversation we're having right now. But I definitely do want to open this up to something more broad than defining chips. And I know today is Monday, so we just passed the weekend. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend, and I want to say you guys did something fun, but you know, who actually knows, considering the you know, the pandemic. We can't really beat around the bush at this point. It's been 7-8 months, something like that. We can just kind of say it. You know, there's really not a lot to do, or maybe where you live is a little better than some other areas, but where we live, there's quite high number of cases. We live in New York City. Particularly the area of New York City we live in is not doing great with the coronavirus. What's my favorite TV show? That's a tough question. I loved Game of Thrones despite the last season. Scrubs is one of my favorite TV shows. How I Met Your Mother is great. The Office was very good. Seinfeld was very good. But my favorite? My favorite show, I think I gotta go Game of Thrones. I also do love The Mandalorian, but I don't think it's my favorite show. It's just a very good show. I think Game of Thrones is my favorite show. I would get nervous and anxious and excited, and I would that show elicited emotions. I loved that show. You watch Game of Thrones for dragon fights. You gotta rewatch one day. Yeah, I mean, even just the central story and the character development and everything was great. You haven't watched Game of Thrones? What? Oh, get on that. It's so hard for me to recommend the show knowing how it ends and how the last season was. But I still think it's highly worth your time to watch the show, because the 7 seasons before the season finale, or before the final season, are still so good, and I truly believe that one bad season does not erase 7 incredible seasons. It just doesn't. Though some people like to act like it does. You haven't either. Too graphic. I mean, I get it. Some people don't like that kind of stuff, but you haven't either. You only have time to watch it without kids. Is only 4 hours on the weekend, so you just settle for what you already know about it. Fair enough. Listen, it definitely isn't a show for everyone. It is very graphic, and it is time consuming and difficult to understand at times, and there's a lot going on. So I truly understand that, like, not everyone might enjoy that. Some people don't watch TV shows to like figure things out, and some people watch TV shows because they want to just relax and turn their brain off for a little while, and you kind of can't do that with Game of Thrones. No. 5-year-olds and 2-year-olds should not be watching it. 2-year-olds, I don't think it really matters too much, because 2-year-olds don't have episodic memory yet. 2-year-olds don't remember things like that or humans don't start remembering events until they're about 4 years old, roughly. So they probably won't remember anything that they saw anyway. It might scare them. They might have trouble sleeping, but they wouldn't like be like, hey, when they're 20 years old. Hey, remember when I was like 2 and I was watching Game of Thrones? Crazy. That just won't happen. How long is each episode? About an hour, 50 to 70 minutes. So they're pretty long. They're long episodes, but sometimes the episode just flies by. Yeah, you don't want that either. Yeah, that's they say a lot of C words. They say that a lot. They say fuck a lot. There are 10 episodes each season, and there are 8 seasons. So, yeah. Oh, I did not know that. Oh. Miss Solgina and Link of Hyrule. Ah, cool. Huh. That's good to know. Thanks for telling me that. So now I don't look like a fucking idiot. Sounds like Christmas. Yeah, you could do it over Christmas break for sure. Yeah. You'd have to like put in the effort to do it, but it could be done. What am I doing? I don't get Christmas break. I do get some time off for the holiday. What am I doing? Lauren's probably gonna have us watch what's it called? Lord of the Rings. I was blanking on the name. She's gonna have us watch Lord of the Rings. And other than that, I'm just making a bunch of YouTube videos and trying to like get a bunch of content together so I can enjoy the holiday. I want to try not to have to work so much during my time off and kind of enjoy spending the little bit of time with my family that I'll be able to. But that's my plan for the holiday. I think we're just seeing like my parents, my brother and his girlfriend, and then probably Lauren's mom, Lauren's brother and wife, and their 2 little kids on separate days, not even together. So, we'll see. There'll be 6 of us one day, and then 4, 5, 6, and then 7 of us on another. But 2 of them are children under 2, so like, yeah, nothing special or wild. Let's see. It's about 8:40. Yeah, you're spreading your celebrations. You just have to. Just have to. Is there any other things that you guys might want to talk about? Because if not, I'm probably gonna go. Just because I have to edit this podcast episode. Normally, I don't like my streams to be so short, but on Mondays, when we record the episode, while we stream, I have to end so I can go record it and upload it and do the transcription and all kind of stuff, because I like to have a transcript so people who maybe are hard of hearing or can't read or can't listen for whatever reason, or maybe don't understand something we're saying, they can go back and read it. So we try to be inclusive like that. We try to have all the material. So unless there's anything in particular you guys want to talk about, I'm probably going to wrap this up in a couple of minutes. Just because I don't want to be up until 11 o'clock editing. It takes maybe about an hour or so to edit, and then I want to have a little bit of time where I can just kind of relax. I've been working all day, so, pretty tired. We are in the process of starting a second YouTube channel, and so on Twitch, we were a food and drink streamer primarily, and then we would do some random stuff once a week. But I decided that we are no longer going to be streaming food and drink. We're only going to be streaming our podcast and gaming stuff. And the reason for that is because food and drink didn't really help us at all. It wasn't important for our brand, and it was just kind of taking more time away from doing other things, and we couldn't use the content for anything else. Like tonight, we streamed the podcast episode, so I was able to stream it. I have video of it now, and I have audio. So I have, we streamed, I'll have a YouTube video, and we have a podcast episode from just one stream. And then I could take clips, I could take our chip discussion and make that a second YouTube video. So, I couldn't do anything with the food and drink stuff. So I had to separate it out. I had to kind of take it away, unfortunately, even though I love doing it. And with the gaming stuff, our one YouTube channel, if you go on our YouTube right now, it was a combination of food and drink and Pokemon and science and podcasts. And it was like, YouTube didn't know what to do with it. They didn't know who to recommend our videos to, and we weren't getting any real growth. So I said, okay, we're going to take our Just Now Science YouTube channel, and we're going to make it just science and podcast stuff. And I'll make a second YouTube channel where I can do all my gaming stuff. I can play Pokemon, and I can do the card games, and I can do whatever. And then it'll recommend it to people who want to watch Pokemon content. And then they can, people who watch the YouTube for the podcast, the Pokemon stuff, can funnel into our live streams under the Just Now Science, just, to kind of tie it all together. So I've been making a bunch of Pokemon videos and scheduling them to go live when we, what's the word I'm looking for? when we publish our channel, like when that goes live. So, you know, which, like Miss Sylvie said, we're trying to have more of a focus. We're trying to really take a brand and all kind of stuff and make it one cohesive, functioning channel. You got pork loins and baked potato. I haven't had pork loins in forever. Pork is really, really good. But if I'm gonna eat pork, I do prefer it to be like pork belly, like in ramen bowls. I love that. Pork ribs, like I love ribs. They're incredible. And then shredded pork shoulder and stuff like that in like bao buns or dumplings and stuff are also very, very good. Pork can be really good. People are really scared of cooking pork because there's what's called trichinosis, which is an infection people can get from eating raw pork. So people tend to overcook pork because they're so afraid of something like trichinosis and things like that. But as long as you cook it to the appropriate internal temperature, it's fine. You love food except for coleslaw. Yeah, I don't care for coleslaw.